Hi, this is Doug. Today I'm here with my Sawstop Jobsite Saw. Had this saw for a little over a year. It's been a good saw. Just had my first problem with it the last couple of weeks, and I was going to show it, but for some reason today it's working and it's not doing the same error. But what it was doing is I would start it up, and then it would shut itself off and do a spool down with the paddle out in the on position. Once it was fully stopped, the red light would come on solid. And there's a chart here on this end of the saw and also in the manual that tells what the indicator lights mean. And according to this chart, it means if the red light comes on solid with the green off, you should replace the brake cartridge. We've never had a event where we've had to pop the brake on this saw, thankfully. So it's never had that happen. And I wasn't real excited about running out and spending $80 to buy a new brake cartridge, since this brake cartridge was fine. So because of that, I decided to call Sawstop. And I'm glad I did, because when I talked to Sawstop customer service, he said it's almost never the brake cartridge unless it's actually been set off. If it hasn't been triggered, then it's almost never the brake cartridge. What they suggested to do was to replace this switch box. So thankfully they sent me a new switch box. So that's what I'm going to do. Hopefully it fixes our issue, because it's not usable, because I tried to use it the other day to finish up some work, and every time I turn it on and get set up for a cut, it would shut itself back off. So we're gonna do that today. The instructions he sent me in an email. So obviously unplug it, put the blade to 45 degrees, it's lowered, it's unplugged, it's off, and then we're going to have to remove it from the stand to do this. So I'm going to take my 5mm Allen and my 13mm wrench and finish removing it from the job site cart. Also, just a note, before I called them, I did pull the brake cartridge out. I thought maybe it was a bad connection. I blew it off, blew the connection out, put it back together, tried it, same issue. I was hoping it was just a bad connection, but hopefully the switch box fixes it. So now I've got it disconnected from the cart. I'm going to find out how heavy this is by itself. Really, it's not bad. Says to put it upside down. So I put this mat here, so I've got it upside down now. And we're going to have to remove the bottom to access that switch box, which, come to think of it, I probably want to turn that around so switch is on the front. Switch is right here. Get this card out of the way. The next thing we have to do is remove the bottom panel. The instructions say to start with the screw to the left of this indentation facing the front, which the front is over here on my left. So that's going to be this screw right here, this indentation. I'm honestly not sure why it matters, but we're going to follow the instructions. So we're going to start over here and start pulling these Phillips head screws. And it says on this last one that the plate's going to spring up a little bit. And just like that. Alright, I'm going to set this off to the side here. And now we have it open. Alright, I have you zoomed in on the box now, so we're going to start disconnecting the switch box. So we're going to start with this one, and now that we've done this one here, there's a keeper with a Phillips head screw in it. Gonna remove. Set it off to the side. There's like a computer connector here in the back. And unscrewing these. Gonna remove that one. And then there's one more connector here on the bottom, which I guess would actually be the top of the saw. Alright, now that's disconnected. Now we need to remove 4 of these screws to remove the switch box. There are 7 screws in the back of this. We're going to remove these 2 and these 2. The other 3 hold the switch box together. Okay, now we have those 4 out. Now there's this red clip that we need to remove. And that clip is actually attached to the switch paddle. You can see as I'm moving the switch paddle on the front, it's actually actuating that. And the way we're going to remove that is with some needle nose pliers. I'm going to carefully pinch that and pull the switch box out while that's pinched. Maybe. There's the old switch box. Set it to the side. Screws just fell out. They did send me new screws, so I'll go ahead and use them. But yeah, you can see here's the switch, and there's a paddle moving. So we'll grab the new switch and get it in. It's the new switch box. Gonna carefully line it up. And kind of works better to bring it low to get it off, so we'll slip it back up. So we got that re-engaged with the paddle switch. And see if we can't get. Oh, there's the first screw. Alright, now we're just going to make sure it's all seated correctly. It seems to be. We will tighten these screws down. Alright, it's nice and solid. And we'll reconnect everything, starting with the bottom. Reconnected. We'll get this one, make sure it's the right direction. Screw it in. We'll reconnect the top one here. And put this little keeper back on. Just kind of holds the connectors so they don't vibrate too much, I guess. Alright, all the 3 connections are solid, so we now have that installed. Alright, so we've got the new switch box installed. So we put it to 45 degrees when we took it apart. We are going to return it to 90 now. And this spring right here engages with the bottom of the saw right here in this channel. So as we go back together, I'm just gonna watch that and make sure it goes in the right spot. That's the most important part right here. And it is in its hole, and then we're gonna start by installing the screw that we finished with when we took it apart. They call that a counterbalance spring, so I think it just helps when you're changing the angle of the saw from 45 back to 90 to make that a little bit smoother. And I'm just going to use a screwdriver this time so I don't strip them out, because they are just going into the plastic housing of the saw. Okay, we have all 15 screws back in the bottom of the saw. We're going to flip it over and get it back on the stand. Alright, so we're all finished up. We've got it back on the stand, and just a quick note, we have this little outfeed table here, and the way it was built, the feet, I guess, of the stand have to be tucked underneath, and it's kind of a pain because I've got a dust collector down there that is a bit difficult to get out with the saw in the way. So I had the bright idea that I would flip the saw around on the stand, because these handles are shorter than the legs, and I did. I flipped it around, I got it all on there, and then I went to extend the table here, and it runs right into one of the legs. So if any of you are wondering if you can flip your job site around on the stand, the answer is no. I guess there's a reason they designed it that way, or have it the way it is, but it won't work the opposite direction on the stand, which is unfortunate. It would have been nice because the wheels would have been tucked under, and it would have been a lot easier to move the saw in and out of our particular setup. But anyway, I felt real smart for a minute and then didn't feel so smart. Now we've got it all set up, got the dust collector back up to it, and it starts up correctly. The 0 to 45 adjustment works nice and smooth. And the saw appears to be working perfectly. So I'm sure before we post this video that we will have run quite a bit through the saw. We'll know if anything else is wrong. Hopefully that fixes our problem and we won't have any more issues. But Sawstop customer service was great. Sent out the part, got it in I think 2 days. Wasn't an issue. So they were fine to deal with. So not very difficult to replace the part either, as you can see. Hopefully this helps somebody fix that on their own saw. Maybe help you figure out what the problem is, but it appears that it was not, in fact, the brake as the indicator lights said. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll have some more stuff, so if you stick around, you might see some more videos from us in the future. Thank you.